So salutis.
In Death released for PC VR and PSVR in 2018, but today it releases for Oculus Quest with some new content and a revamped title, In Death Unchained. Much like the original, Unchained is set in the afterlife, except heaven is not quite as peachy as you would expect. It's been overrun by zombies, Templars, headless monks, and many other creepy enemies. Most of the game's core content remains the same, except pared down visually to run on Quest, and with the addition of a whole new world, the Abyss. While the original game was developed by Soulfar Studios, this new Quest version was taken over by a different studio, Superbright. This version of the game will be the focus from now on. While Quest will receive new content and DLC, other platforms won't. The game is a roguelite VR shooter that concerns itself solely with archery combat. Unlike other roguelite games, you don't unlock an array of different weapons or armor as you progress. There's only two weapons to choose from, a bow and an unlockable crossbow. However, as you attempt to run, die, and try again, the game will get significantly harder and constantly keep you on your toes, spawning more enemies, tougher enemies, and entirely new ones as well. There's 3 worlds to progress through: Sanctuary, Paradise Lost, and the Quest exclusive world, the Abyss. Each run will never quite be the same, as the layout and enemy placement is randomized and procedurally generated. At first, you'll be restricted to just the first world, Sanctuary. After you achieve 20% progress through achievements and you clear the entire first world, culminating in a boss fight, you'll unlock Paradise Lost. Likewise, after clearing that world and reaching 40% progress, you'll unlock the Abyss. The Abyss is an appropriate addition to the content of the original game, providing the same enthralling gameplay with a much welcome new visual theme. Superbright have done well to match the existing game's heritage while putting their own stamp on the new content. In Death is an excruciatingly hard game. Dying is part of the game. The first few achievements are fairly easy to unlock and grant you a bit of progress quickly. However, you'll reach a point where some achievements become more difficult and some simply just take time grinding to unlock. This isn't a negative though. The core gameplay loop is incredibly addictive. Combined with the slow burn of the game's progression, you always have something to work towards, and the game still feels fresh after many runs. Even when you unlock and clear all 3 worlds, you'll start over again with access to a harder version of each one. There's a robust scoring system that grants you more points for things like headshots or killing certain types of enemies, and with leaderboard integration, you'll be able to compete for global high scores or just to beat the score of your Oculus friends. In terms of combat, the archery mechanics are some of the best we've tried in any VR game. This was a sticking point for David in his review of the PC VR original a couple of years ago, and the same applies here. The bow is incredibly satisfying to shoot. You can pull off some fantastic long-range headshots. Or you can unleash a quick flurry of arrows to kill a bunch of enemies at short range. It's just incredibly good and unmatched by any other VR archery system I've tried. The other weapon, unlocked midway through the game, is the crossbow. However, it can feel a bit more like a machine gun at times. The reliability of the crossbow at short range means you can teleport right up into an enemy's face and kill them with a single headshot before they even have time to react. Of course, this isn't possible in large groups of enemies, but it still feels like it takes away from some of the strategy and the patience that the bow requires. I found myself returning to the bow when I wanted to play seriously. The movement system for In Death is integrated beautifully into the game's core mechanics. At launch, the only movement option is teleport, which you do by loading a special teleport arrow using the A or B buttons. It's fantastic, intuitive, and an easy to use system that easily beats out traditional teleport mechanics. The developers have recently indicated that smooth locomotion options will be added in a post-launch update, but even if you're a teleport skeptic, we would encourage you to give this system a try anyway. It's good fun. So you might be wondering how such a detailed, large, and intense game can run on the Quest. Isn't there always a big payoff in cases like this? Well, the answer is yes, and that payoff is exactly where you would expect it: the graphics. The original game on PC VR has a heavenly sheen to it. There's some beautiful lighting effects from the sky, gorgeous warm oil lamps inside, and nice reflections off shiny surfaces like Templars' helmets. While the general visual style has been preserved in Unchained, there's no denying it's a significant downgrade. Textures look much lower resolution, and most of these beautiful, heavenly lighting effects are dialed down or missing completely. It's the same game, but missing a lot of the visual panache from the original. Given the significant limitations of the Quest, this is all understandable from a development perspective, but still a bit disappointing. But while the team had to make some visual sacrifices, the gameplay more than makes up for it. More often than not, you'll be having such a fun time grinding through runs that the visual fidelity becomes unimportant. I was too wrapped up in chaining headshots, avoiding enemies, and maximizing my high score to care about what the game looked like most of the time. You can easily lose yourself in the intense combat. It really is refreshing to see a game arrive on Quest that offers such depth and difficulty. Unlike many other one-and-done games or short campaigns available on the system, Unchained offers a style of game that will keep players occupied for multiple sessions, potentially months to come. If you're a fan of roguelites, you won't be disappointed. If you're new to the roguelite genre, we'd encourage you to give In Death a try. It may be a difficult game, but the concepts are simple to understand. You'll be mastering and improving your bow and arrow combat for hours, and constantly readjusting your strategy as the game increases in difficulty to match your progress. In Death Unchained is a unique, unparalleled game on the Quest system at the moment. It's more than a game you'll play once on the weekend and never pick up again. If you're looking for something to commit to and return to over several sessions and improve at, then Unchained seems like a great bet for Oculus Quest owners. In Death Unchained is available now for Oculus Quest for $29.99. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for all the latest in VR and AR, and check out UploadVR.com for more.